NGB is always here to help.
Thank you, NGB.
No, thank you.
What would we do without NGB?
They're always so helpful.
Thanks, NGB! Thanks, NGB.
Always here to help.
Wow, thanks, NGB.
Always happy to help. I'm no hero. I'm just doing my job.
Let's hear it for NGB, huh?
Wake up.
Hey, Jim.
We have customers to take care of. Welcome to NGB. How can we help you?
Hello everyone, welcome to MHS Sports on MHTV. I'm Jess Burton, and today we're at Marblehead Veterans Middle School as the Magicians softball team takes on the Danvers Falcons. We'd like to thank National Grand Bank for being our community partner in bringing you MHS Sports on MHTV, and stay tuned to the end of the game for the Marblehead Sports Shop Player of the Game announcement. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in mid-May for softball or any sport. It's 70 degrees. A wind blowing lightly inwards, so that would probably knock down some home run balls potentially, but we should have a really good game here today between these two teams. The Magicians, of course, are one of the best teams in the state. They are 11-1 overall. They are trying to get back to the Final Four like they did last year, but also maybe win a couple more games and hoist a state championship trophy. And they are playing like state champions. On the other side, the Danvers Falcons, they're 7-5. They're having a consistent season. And these two teams played to a 2-0 final about 3 weeks ago in Danvers, one of the Magicians' lower scoring games of the season. So we'll see what kind of game we have today, if it's going to be competitive and low scoring like that as well, or it could be high scoring like the Magicians are used to. They're coming off their second highest scoring output of the season in a wild win over Peabody. 10-7 was the final. There were 2 grand slams hitting that game, including one by senior captain Lila McGovern to put the Magicians ahead. And then they secured the win. This is one of 4 home games remaining for the Magicians. Also have 4 on the road as we are in the second half of the regular season. And on the mound today, as she has been all season long, and last year, is the MVP candidate Tessa Francis. She has 157 strikeouts this season. She has a perfect game and 2 no-hitters. She is one of the best in the state, and we'll get our first glimpse at her as this is our first coverage of MHS softball this season. But she is outstanding. She'll mix it up with a fastball and a nasty off-speed pitch. She has had double-digit strikeouts in, I believe, every game so far this season, and that 157 is 47 more than the player in second place in that category on the North Shore. Head coach Johnny Gold going to make sure the pitching circle is ready for his star pitcher before we get going here. Tessa giving him some direction on how she likes it. Looks like she'll take another warm-up pitch, and then we'll probably get going. Behind the dish for the Magicians today is another senior captain, Luca Bornhurst. She's having an outstanding season both defensively and at the plate. We'll meet the rest of the defense as we get started, but here in the first inning, Francis will face Kyla Maroney, Lila Flynn, and Addie McCartney for the Falcons. So Maroney steps in, Francis steps on, and we are ready to go. And the first pitch is a ball. Looks like it was a little bit inside. You can see the speed of Francis' fastball right away there. I want to touch inside as well. Francis will walk batters, but so talented that she's usually able to get out of jams. And she has a great defense behind her as well. A little frustrated as she looks back and kind of puts her palm up ever so slightly, saying I'm not sure why any of those were strikes, but a 4-pitch walk to begin the game puts Maroney on. It did look like a couple of those pitches were in there. So some adversity right away here for Francis. Hopefully she can keep her composure if she's not going to get calls and they're going to squeeze a strike zone. Second batter lays down a bunt to move Maroney over to second. That retires Lila Flynn on one pitch. But that's what opposing hitters have to do and opposing teams have to do against Francis is play a little small ball. They have to move the runners along or else they really won't score runs against her. That brings up Addie McCartney. She'll be at short when the Falcons take the field. And there's a called strike. The 0-1 is inside. And Francis doesn't get that call either. She's definitely being squeezed right now by the home plate umpire. A 2-1 count. That'll even the count at 2. Francis gets the sign from Bornhurst, fires, and that is inside. The 3-2. And that is a walk. Second walk by Francis here in the first on another pitch that was very close. But the double play threat is back out there for the Magicians' defense. If they get a ground ball, see if they can turn one and get Francis out of this mini jam here early on. That one up high. Around the infield for the Magicians is Tess Andriano at third, Haley Schmidt at short, Kate Andriano at second, and Lila McGovern at first. And there's a swing and a miss. The pitch out of the zone. Briley Keyser, the cleanup hitter for the Falcons, chases. Helps Francis out. And here's the 1-1 pitch. Called ball. And a lot of these look really good. Hopefully the Magicians get the same strike zone when they're at the plate. That's in there. But the pitch count rising here for Francis in the first. That's fouled away. Stays in play, but no play for the Magicians. She threw a ton of pitches in her last game against Peabody. It's a good thing they've had just about a week break in between games so she could rest her arm. There's another 2-2 pitch that's inside. Another full count. Reaching out and poking it into left field is Keyser, and it's out of play, foul. That almost surely would have cleared the bases had it stayed fair. Here's the 3-2. That's fouled up and towards the Magicians' dugout. Coach Gold ducks out of the way. Keyser battling here against Francis. This is also going to go foul into the parking lot. Three straight foul balls for Francis, or for Keyser, fighting off Francis' pitches. Another full count one, and that will slice foul. Keyser really making Tessa work here. All the Falcons are in the first. Still just one out. They'd love a ground ball. Another one in the air, though, this time into shallow left. Also in foul territory. And the play is made by Nora Mahan, and she threw it over Andriano's glove on the cutoff, but luckily Bornhurst paying attention, backing up the play, and that keeps the runners at first and second with now 2 out. That brings up Diana Cash, right fielder, and number 5 hitter in the Falcons lineup. 2 on and 2 out. First pitch is low. In the last game versus Peabody, the Tanners put runners on the base paths in every inning. Francis walked a bunch. I think the total was 8 or 9. That also struck out 14, I believe, was the final number. Again, that was a wild game, back and forth. After McGovern's grand slam in the 6th inning, the Tanners had 2 on with the tying run at the plate. And there's a swing and a miss, but Francis was able to get out of that jam and end the game. And she's a strike away from getting out of this one. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch to Cash. And it's through the middle of the first and second baseman. And Maroney runs across home plate for the first run of the game to put the Falcons up 1-0. That was a lot closer than it probably should have been, as the Magicians fielded that out in right field. Mortensen threw to first, almost got Cash at first, and then McGovern threw home, and they almost got Maroney at home. But now it's runners on the corners with a run across. And Francis pitches to her opposition today, Sky Coakley. Obviously, that last one was a tough play. It was basically only Kate Andriano's ball. She would have had to go a long way to her left to get it, as it split her and McGovern, but McGovern was holding the runner on, playing very close to the bag. That ball's in the dirt, and Cash moves up to second. That was an 0-2 pitch, so now it's 1-2 with 2 down, but both runners for Danvers are in scoring position. And that's across Coakley's eyes for ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Danvers strands 2. Francis gets out of the jam with just 1 run across for the Falcons. So they lead it 1-0 with the Magicians coming up. Magicians will lead it off with Ashley Mortensen, followed by Nora Mahan, and Haley Schmidt. Mortensen putting together a really nice season from the leadoff spot. And takes ball 1. Sky Coakley on the mound for the Falcons. Just struck out in her at-bat to end the top of the first. Had a chance to give herself some more cushion with those 2 runners on in scoring position before taking the mound, but she does go out there with a 1-0 lead. Two balls and no strikes. 3 balls, no strikes. And the pitcher's starting out on the same script here. Strike 1. Check swing on the 3-0. Coakley deals, and a strike at the knees. That's one already. I'm not sure Francis was getting in the top half. Mortensen thought she was about to walk. A full count. Ashley gets a piece to stay alive. This is slicing foul our way. Mortensen will see another pitch. The 3-2 once again is fouled off. Ashley ahead of the last one, a little bit late on that one. Slicing it off the top of the snack shack. This is in play, popped up to short. And Mortensen is retired by Addie McCartney. That'll bring up Nora Mahan. Speedy little player. Infield for Danvers is McGinnity at third, McCartney at short, Flynn at second, and Wilachowski at first. Briley Keyser is behind the plate. Mahan takes ball 1. Both pitchers having a little trouble adjusting to this umpire's strike zone here early on. Danvers putting their run across with just one hit in the first inning. That's a called strike. The outfield is Taylor Landry in left, Kyla Maroney in center, and Diana Cash in right. That comes in on Mahan. She jumped out of the way, but it is a called strike. Here's the 1-2, and that does hit her. This time she doesn't jump out of the way fast enough. Gets her on the inner thigh. And they're saying she leaned into it. And this umpire is doing these girls no favors. Stickler for the rules, this guy. Said she bent into it. You could see the motion he was making. She does that before every swing. I've seen her play over the last few years. She kind of crouches down. I don't think she leaned into it as she was trying to get out of the way the last one. Puts it in the air to second, and the play is made by Flynn. So nothing to show for that at bat for Mahan except a bruise. Two pop-ups to the infield, and that brings up Haley Schmidt with 2 down. That's low. Schmidt producing at an all-star level this season. One of the more consistent players for the Magicians over the last few seasons. She's a tough out. It's on the ground, back to Coakley, and it's a foul ball. Said it bounced off the plate. Wow. Well, I guess that gives Schmidt a second life, because that was going to be a ground out. Now here's the 1-1. Off speed. She was early on it. 1-2. Coakley fires a fastball by her. 1-2-3 inning for Coakley and the Falcons. They lead at 1-0 as we head to the second. So in the top of the second, Francis will face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Falcons. It'll be Brooke Wilachowski, Allie McGinnity, and Taylor Landry. 2 walks in the first inning surrendered by Francis. Ended the inning with a strikeout. Cash with the RBI single, the only hit off Francis. Wilachowski, the left-handed batter, takes strike 1. That is outside. So is that. So it's 2-1. We met the infield defense in the first. The outfield for the Magicians today is Nora Mahan in left, Ashley Mortensen in center, and Isabel Mortensen in right. Swing and a miss at a high pitch. 2-2 for Francis, back ahead in the at-bat. Fires high. She doesn't chase this time. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks to end and begin the innings for Francis. That brings up Allie McGinnity, the third baseman. Ball 1 to McGinnity. Ball 2. That's in there. Good pitch from Francis. Strike 2. McGinnity yet to swing in the at-bat. Here's the 2-2. Swings and gets a piece of that one. It clips Bornhurst. Luca will shake it off. That's inside. Another full count for Francis. And McGinnity chops it off the backstop. Her pitch count is very high here through the first inning and a batter. Strike 3 looking. 3 straight strikeouts. Francis starting to find a groove. And that's bad for Falcons hitters. That'll bring up the 9-hitter Landry. It's the first of 3 games this week for the Magicians. So Francis will be busy out there. She gets the call every game. They'll go on the road to play Beverly and their next game on Wednesday, and then at home against Latin Academy on Thursday. The Magicians beat Beverly 1-0 and Latin 8-1 earlier in the year. And that completely fooled Landry as Francis strikes out the side on the nasty changeup that we were talking about pregame. That's 4 straight strikeouts, 3 in the inning to sit down the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. The Magicians coming up in the bottom of the second, trailing 1-0. Coakley, the pitcher for the Falcons, will face Tessa Andriano, Tessa Francis, and Isabel Mortensen. Andriano, the cleanup hitter, looks at strike 1. 1-2-3 inning for Coakley in the first. A couple of pop-ups, 1 to short, 1 to second, and then a strikeout of Schmidt to end the inning. And Andriano looks and shakes her head at that called strike as well. And now she's got to be ready. There's the 0-2 pitch. Popped straight up. It's going to get out of play. Big swing for Andriano. She's got great power. Despite the wind blowing in, she could definitely still lift one out of here. That's low. Good eye. popped up towards first base, and she overran it. You could tell she had no chance on that. When she came to a stop, it was over her head. That's a poor play over there by the first baseman. It's Wilichowski. See if Andriano can make them pay for that mistake. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, that was close. Just a little bit low. She fouls that back. Tessa, an extraordinary athlete, obviously one of the key cogs to this team, but also in the wintertime, the leader of the girls basketball team, a heck of a three-point shooter. And she's showing how well she sees the strike zone here, as she has worked herself into a full count. Coakley fires, and it's line to third, off the third baseman's glove, and Andriano is going to reach safely. McGinnity had a chance at it. Off the tip of her glove. The Magicians have their first base runner. They'll leave her out there to run. That brings up Tessa Francis. Francis hits from the left side. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. Not only has Francis basically secured league MVP with her outstanding pitching this season, but just the work she's done at the plate would put her in the conversation as well. I believe she has 4 home runs this season. So a lot of the time she helps herself out in big ways. She could give her team the lead with one swing of the bat here. There's the 1-2 pitch to her. Oh, and she reached out for it. She was fooled on Coakley's off-speed pitch. After she fooled a couple Danvers hitters in the last inning, she is the second strikeout for Coakley. That brings up Isabel Mortensen. Coakley to face back-to-back lefties here. Mortensen lays down a bunt that goes foul. She sort of poked at that one and drove it foul. Had she just laid the bat there, that might have dropped right in front of the plate where she wanted it to. Looks like she will show bunt again and pulls it back in time. So 1-1 with one out. Trying to get Andriano into scoring position with Bornhurst on deck. 2-1. Not sure what the umpire was asking his partner about there. Coakley delivers the 2-1. It's popped up and caught. The catcher and third baseman converge, but it is McGinnity who rushes in to make the play. Steals it out of the glove of Keyser. Now 2 down in the inning. Mortensen unable to get a bunt down. the experienced senior, Luca Bornhurst, takes ball 1. Transferred to MHS before last season. She has hit maybe in every spot in the Magicians lineup except the very last 2 over the past few seasons. I'm surprised she's in the 7th slot today. We've seen her hit cleanup, lead off, second. Puts it in the air. Pretty routine for the second baseman. She reads this one right, and that retires the side. Magicians strand Andriano on first. And before we go to our break, we'd like to thank National Grand Bank for being our community partner in bringing you MHS Sports on MHTV. The 3rd inning's coming up. Back to the top of the order for the top of the 3rd inning for the Falcons. Kyla Maroney, Lila Flynn, and Addie McCartney due up. Francis walked Maroney to open the game, and then Maroney came around to score the only run so far. The Falcons have the 1-0 lead. And Francis falls behind in this at-bat. 0-1 with a low off-speed pitch. Excuse me, 1-0. That one's going to be over the second baseman's head into shallow right. Maroney on for the second time. Guess that first pitch was a strike that she saw. So Flynn laid down a sac bunt in her first at bat. Looks to do it again here. Shows, offers, and misses. Fouls that one off. See if she tries to bunt again here with 2 strikes. No, swings away and swings right through it. Fifth strikeout of the afternoon for Francis. That brings up McCartney, who also walked in her first at-bat. Looks at a ball high. I mentioned the busy week that the Magicians have this week with the 3 games. Well, they have 5 games next week. They will play today and then the 7 remaining games in the regular season schedule by next Saturday, which is the 24th. Been a lot of games rained out this spring with the crummy weather that we've had. But the good thing is that with the record the Magicians have at 11-1, they might have some extra time off between their first tournament game for Francis to rest up. So I assume her arm is going to be very tired by the end of next week. And hopefully that doesn't affect her going into the tournament, because they need her to be sharp if they want to make another deep run, which they're expecting to. This is sliced towards second base. Excellent play. Double play for the Magicians. Kate Andriano makes the catch running to her left and dishes off to McGovern as the runner was on the move, and that ends the inning. Francis is strong, but so is the Magicians' defense behind her. Another reason why a deep run in the tournament is possible. They're due up, trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. It'll be hitters 8, 9, and then back to the top of the order here in the 3rd for the Magicians. Kate Andriano starts us off. Takes ball 1. Kate, the younger sister of Tessa Andriano. Another talented Andriano in the family. That's a called strike. Kate obviously showing off how talented she is, making that play to end the top of the third. And she takes strike two. The 1-2 pitch from Coakley is fouled off. Off speed gets Kate. Third strikeout for Coakley. Both pitchers with deadly off-speed pitches. Using them in key spots so far here in this game. And that brings up Lila McGovern, last game's hero. Hit the go-ahead grand slam at Peabody to put the Magicians on top in the sixth. They held on for the 10-7 win, trailing 7-6 at the time of the slam. The Magicians have won 4 in a row. Their only loss this season, a 1-0 loss to Masco. McGovern holds off, thought about it, but holds off. Count now in her favor at 2-1. Lila, a 4-year varsity player at first base for Johnny Gold's team. One of, if not the most experienced player out there. Here's the 2-2 after the foul ball. And she'll see another. The Magicians have 4 shutout wins this season and have held teams to 1 run 3 times in victories. And the Danvers coach put his hands on his head and has something to say to the home plate umpire about that pitch, because it looked like strike 3, but he says it was inside. And whether he's right or wrong, he's been consistent since the first pitch of the game. That's been a ball. And that brings the count to a full count. Here's the 3-2, and that is inside. And now he's going to go out and say something. And you really can't argue balls and strikes. But he's going to take a chance at it. He thought both of those were strikes. Coach Gold has also thought a few of Francis' pitches right about that spot on the plate were strikes. But he has squeezed these hitters all afternoon. Now he's probably warning him right now. Yep, that's exactly what he did. You definitely don't see coaches get thrown out of softball games very often. Usually they let the umpires just call the game, but I agree. Both coaches have had pretty good arguments on some of these pitches. And that's the first walk of the game for Coakley. So McGovern's on first. Mortensen lays down a bunt. She's speedy. And they barely get her by a half step. But the sacrifice does get McGovern to second. That brings up Nora Mahan, who popped up to second base after being hit by a pitch and then told to get back in the batter's box by the umpire, who said she leaned into it. Takes ball one here in her second at bat in the bottom of the third, with McGovern in scoring position, looking for the game-tying RBI. That's low. That almost clipped Mahan on the shoelaces. Magicians would take a walk here with Schmidt and Andriano on deck and in the hole. Half swing for Mahan, fouls it off. I think she knew she was swinging at a ball as it looked like it was rising. Helps out Coakley a bit. Two and one on the Magicians' left fielder. Coakley winds, fires, puts it by her.
Nice swing. Go, Nora.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. McGovern on second. A good eye by Mahan.
Go, Nora. Come on, Sticks.
The 3-2. Strike 3 called. About the same spot as the pitches that were called balls. Maybe the argument by the Danvers head coach earned him one. And the pitch was dropped, but they throw Mahan out at first. That ends the third inning. We'd like to remind you that MHTV is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so if you're enjoying this production of MHS Sports on MHTV, please consider making a donation by visiting our website, marbleheadtv.org, and clicking on the donate button. We'll be right back.
NGB is always here to help.
Thank you, NGB.
No, thank you.
What would we do without NGB?
They're always so helpful.
Thanks, NGB. Thanks, NGB.
Always here to help.
Wow, thanks, NGB.
Always happy to help. I'm no hero. I'm just doing my job.
Let's hear it for NGB, huh?
Wake up.
Hey, Jim.
We have customers to take care of. Welcome to NGB. How can we help you?
Top of the fourth inning for Francis and the Magicians' defense to face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Falcons. Francis with 5 strikeouts. First pitch fouled off. Keyser fouled out in her first at bat to left field. Wow. That pitch called a ball. That one a bit more obvious that it is a ball, but you can tell by Frances' body language she's unhappy with the strike zone. Two balls and a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Hard ground ball to Andriano. Good scoop. Strong throw across. So Keezer's 0 for 2. That brings up Diana Cash. She's got 1 of 2 Danvers hits today. An RBI single in the first to drive home the leadoff hitter Kyla Maroney, who walked her way on. That's called strike. 1-1, the count. Danvers leads it 1-0 on the Cash Ribby. Takes another strike. Tessa bounces that one in. The 2-2 off the plate. And Tessa looks up to the heavens. Frustration setting in. Cash puts it foul. This is what Frances doesn't need, is a high pitch count to begin the week with 2 games coming up. And then 5 between the end of this week and next Saturday. But Danvers fighting off pitches. She's worked herself into a bunch of full counts with no help from the umpire. But let's see if she can battle through this. She's battled through adversity at times this season. Facing it here, and that is strike 3. Got her looking. Excellent pitch. Finally gets a call on the inner part of the plate. 6th strikeout for Frances. With 2 down, she faces the opposing pitcher, Coakley, who she struck out to end the first inning with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Danvers was in good position to put up a few runs in the first. Only got the 1. That's where we're at now, a 1-0 game. Here's the 1-1 to Coakley. Bornhurst lifts it out of the dirt.
Come on, Marblehead!
That's a strike across the letters. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Frances rings her up. 7th strikeout of the afternoon for Frances. Back-to-back to end the inning. Her 3rd straight 1-2-3 inning after the troublesome first. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th inning, and Danvers sending a new pitcher out there. It's Kyla Maroney coming in from center field to take over for Coakley, who had not allowed a hit. The 1 ball, or one runner put on by Coakley could have been deemed a hit or an error by the third baseman. But let's see if Magicians can get to Maroney, and they do. Put the first pitch in play, and Haley Schmidt with a leadoff single. And it actually looked like Coakley left the field with her parents, packed up her bag, and headed out after 3 hitless innings. Schmidt tries to steal, hesitated halfway down to second, but gets in there. Not a very good throw by Keyser. We'd also like to see Schmidt be more decisive.
Smacked the first ball to be on third. Almost a foul. Thought I had time.
The pitch was a ball to Andriano. Again, she was the only batter to reach base prior to Schmidt. Ground ball back to Maroney. Nice play. They're going to try to turn 2, but Schmidt hustles up to third in time on the throw from pitcher to first.
Nice job, Tessa!
So you can consider that a sacrifice for Andriano. So now with 1 down in the inning, Schmidt has worked her way from first to third, with Tessa Francis due up in position to tie or give her team and herself the lead when she goes back out there. It's a big spot for Tessa and the Magicians. They got to get this run across, trailing 1-0. If you put it in the air in any distance into the outfield, you got to assume that Schmidt will be able to tag up. But I'd be surprised to see Francis bunt here. The ground ball might score as well. We'll see. Danvers has pulled the infield way in. The first baseman is basically parallel to the pitcher and creeps in even farther.
Go, Tessa! Come on, Tessa, you're a hitter!
I mean, any ground ball hard hit ground ball should get by the first baseman or third baseman because they are so far in.
Good eye!
That's 2 balls to begin the at-bat.
Go, Tessa!
The 2-0 off the end of the bat, the very end of the bat. Francis way ahead of that pitch.
Go 14. Got it.
Takes a 2-1 low.
Come on, 1-4!
That is drilled deep and off the top of the wall. Missed a home run by about 6 inches. She absolutely clobbered it. An RBI double for Tessa Francis.
Way to be, Tessa!
What a swing by Francis. It's a new game, 1-1. Gonna have a pinch runner over there for her.
Go, Isabel!
As Isabel Mortensen steps in. Hard ground ball. That'll move the runner up. Mortensen grounds out to second, but the courtesy runner, Kellyanne Salem, goes from second to third and is 60 feet away. She's the go-ahead run with Luca Bornhurst at the dish. Luca looks at a good pitch there. Bornhurst, a patient hitter, but might have been able to put a good pop onto that one. Swings through that, just underneath that pitch. Dropped her hands just a little bit. Now in the hole, 0-2. And that will score Salem. An RBI single for Bornhurst on the 0-2 pitch, and the Magicians have the 2-1 lead here in the fourth.
Go 1-8. Let it get you, Kate.
Luca locked in on the 2-strike pitch over the second baseman's head. Now she'll try to steal second, and she does as the ball goes into the outfield, and she's going to get up quickly and run to third. It was a pretty good throw from Keyser, but the infield for Danvers with miscommunication, nobody caught it, and great awareness by Bornhurst to pop up quickly and hustle to third. So now Kate Andriano, ahead in the count 1-0, has a chance to drive Luca in.
Patient, Kate.
Oh, slowed it way down. That was almost an eephus pitch. That went in there at about 25 miles per hour. Andriano whiffed on it. Here's the 1-2 from Maroney. Andriano gets a piece to stay alive. But again, Danvers switching pitchers coming into this inning, and it's cost them the lead. Magicians had only one base runner and no hits through the first 3 innings. And now have 2 runs across, and the third threatening as Andriano fouls another one away. They've got a single and a double in the inning. Ground ball to second, should be routine. The flip to first ends the inning, but not before the Magicians take the lead, and Tessa Francis just missing a 2-run home run. But it's 2-1 Magicians after 4. We'd like to thank National Grand Bank for being our community partner in bringing you MHS Sports on MHTV. The 5th inning coming up. We head to the top of the 5th. Magicians now leading the Falcons 2-1. Trying to beat them for the second time this spring. Francis, with 2 strikeouts last inning, will face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. These are the same 3 hitters she faced in inning number 2, and she struck out the side. So hoping for the same result this time around. She has 7 Ks on the day. This is Brooke Wilachowski, struck out swinging. Francis behind in the count now, 2-1. Wilachowski went down swinging, and McGinnity, who's due up next, went down looking, and Landry finished off the second inning swinging at strike 3 as well. That's fouled into the parking lot, and that moving vehicle just gets by it in time. There's the 2-2 count now on Wilachowski. That's fouled off. The Falcons hitters have definitely battled against Francis. They've fouled off a bunch of pitches today. Strike 3. Strikeout number 8. The second time Wilachowski has fanned on strike 3. Francis probably licking her chops knowing she's got these 3 hitters up again. This is really where she found a rhythm after a difficult first inning. 3 consecutive 1-2-3 innings for Francis. Facing McGinnity for the second time. Starts her off with a ball, now a strike. That's high. That's called inside, maybe a bit low. 3-1 is the count. And ball 4. Third walk of the afternoon for Francis. Just the second base runner since the first inning for the Falcons. Their leadoff hitter in the third singled, but then was doubled up. So Francis still facing the minimum hitters in the third. And we have a pinch runner for McGinnity. It looks like it's Janaea Cash.
Let's go, Tessa. Come on, Marblehead.
It's the 9 hitter in the order, Landry. My mistake, it's Nayla Laura over there running. Strike 1 to Landry.
Let's go, Tessa.
Bornhurst fires down to first quickly, trying to get Laura caught off the bag, but she gets back safely.
You stay put.
Francis ahead in the count, now with 2 strikes on Landry with the foul ball. Oh, goodness. Another pitch that looked right in there. Called a ball. Let's hope the Magicians don't get this umpire in the tournament. As that also looked like a strike, but instead, it's back-to-back balls and another full count for Francis. Hard ground ball right back to her. A chance to turn 2, but she goes to first instead of turning to get the lead runner. She would have had a chance to get Laura. She was slow off first base. An excellent defensive play by the Magicians pitcher. 2 outs in the inning, but a runner in scoring position. The tying run on second for the Falcons with the top of the order up. Strike 1 to Maroney.
Come on, Marblehead.
And Maroney's reached twice. Walked and scored in the first, and singled in the third. Although she struggled on the mound in the last inning, taking over for Coakley. She's been consistent today at the plate. Seen a lot of pitches. And reached twice. Shallow center, and Mortensen hustles in to make the play and end the inning. Great read by Ashley Mortensen out in center field. Everybody comes to congratulate her on the nice play that gets Francis out of the inning. They strand the runner on second, and we head to the bottom of the fifth. The Magicians looking for some insurance runs. Lila McGovern will lead off the bottom of the fifth inning for the Magicians. Puts a pop-up sky high, middle of the infield. Gonna be a tough play for the shortstop, and she boots it. Tried to catch it underhand. Did McCartney, and off the tip of her glove. So McGovern on for the second time today. It's big for the Magicians to get the leadoff hitter on, and now she'll be run for. It's the third error of the game for the Falcons. Andriano reached in the second on a play that should have been made by the third baseman on a line drive. Then they threw away the ball when Bornhurst was stealing, allowed her to move up to third last inning. And now that an error on the shortstop. The wind has picked up a little bit here for Ashley Mortensen's third at bat. She is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice in her last time up. Off-speed pitch from Maroney out there in her second inning of work. Gets by Mortensen for strike two. That bounces a few times before home plate. Slow ground ball to third, and she boots that one. Second error on the third baseman, second error in back-to-back hitters here in the fifth inning, and the Magicians are cooking. 2 aboard with no outs. Poor defense for the Falcons here this afternoon. So Lucy Rogers is the runner representing McGovern. That's on second base. Now Mortensen with good speed on first. And now a very difficult spot for Maroney to be in, having to face the 2, 3, 4, and potentially fifth hitter in the Magicians order, Tessa Francis, who almost took her yard last inning. But she'll start here with Nora Mahan. Mahan 0 for 2. Both at bats coming against the Danvers starter, Coakley. Mahan offers at that. It's a foul ball. Runners will have to go back. Slow roller, doesn't go very far up the third base line. This time a very nice play by the third baseman. McGinnity hustles up on that to make the play, throws across and retires Mahan, but Mahan does her job. That was basically a bunt, although she swung. moves the runners up to second and third with 1 out. With how shaky McGinnity has been at third this afternoon, that was no sure thing for the Falcons defense, but she made a nice play.
Go, Haley!
Haley Schmidt puts it in the air to shallow right field, and it's dropped. That scores Lucy Rogers, and it is 3-1 Magicians. Another drop pop-up.
Patient, Tess, patient.
This time it's the right fielder, Diana Cash, who can't make the play. Third error in the inning for the Falcons defense. And yes, it is costing them at this point.
Nice job!
The Magicians did not have a hit through the first 3 innings against Coakley, and now they lead it 3-1 against Maroney. Tess Andriano stepping in. 2 runners out there for her. She puts it into right field, and Cash makes the play in the shadows, but that's going to score another run. And it's 4-1 Magicians. Sac fly RBI for Andriano. As Mortensen scores. Haley Schmidt rests at third base with Tessa Francis stepping in. And Francis missed a home run by about 6 inches to center field. And her last at bat drills this one. Oh, great play in center. That is Taylor Landry racing back on that hard hit line drive, and she takes an RBI and probably another double away from Francis. Francis was ready for that pitch from Maroney, put a good ride into it, but that does end the 5th inning. But the Magicians get 2, they lead it 4-1. And before we take a short break, we'd like to remind you that MHTV is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So if you're enjoying this production of MHS Sports on MHTV, please consider making a donation by visiting our website, marbleheadtv.org, and clicking on the donate button. We'll be back with the top of the 6th in just a minute. Francis back on the mound for the 6th inning, now with a 3-run cushion. A 4-1 game here. The Magicians lead it. She'll face 2-3-4 in the Danvers lineup. Starting with number 2, Lila Flynn. Swing and a miss on Flynn. A big cut comes up empty. Francis winds and fires in the 1-1 pitch for a strike. Finally gets a call on the inner part of the plate. Comes back with the off-speed pitch to ring up Flynn for the second time today, and back-to-back at-bats by Flynn. That is the 9th strikeout for Francis. That brings up Addie McCartney. Walked in the first, lined into a double play to end the 3rd inning on a fantastic play by Kate Andriano at second base. She takes strike 1 here in the 6th. Swings at strike 2. Falcons having trouble catching up with the heater. That rides up in the zone. Here's the pitch, and it's popped up. It's going to stay in the infield. Francis gets under it, turns the glove around at the last second, and makes the catch. puts her hand over her heart because that was close. She almost dropped that one. But able to make the play. 2 down in the 6th inning. That brings up Briley Keyser. 0 for 2 on the day. Fouled out to right field and grounded out to third. Slices through that fastball. Fouls it off the backstop for strike 1. Francis faced 6 batters in a troublesome first inning, trying to find her footing in the game with a couple of walks, also trying to figure out the strike zone. That's been a bit iffy today. It's been tight at least. Then 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. Faced 4 batters in the 5th. Looking for another 1-2-3 inning here, as that is sliced foul with 2 strikes. But Francis, as even we saw last season, seems to get stronger as the game goes along, even if the pitch count rises, like it has here today. Looking for her 10th strikeout. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Oh, just inside. Brushed Keyser back a little bit. She doesn't get the call on that one either. Now here's the 2-2 pitch. Keyser just gets a piece. Francis came into the game with 157 strikeouts through 12 games this season. Keyser underneath it gets a piece off the backstop. She'll see one more pitch at least. Again, Danvers Falcons doing a good job battling today through these at-bats. They've fouled off a ton of pitches. Tessa rolls that one in there to bring the count full. They fouled off a ton, but they haven't put a lot in play. There's one to short. Schmidt makes the backhanded stop, and safe at first is Keyser. Just beats it out. Keyser not paying attention. Now she is, and she's going to move up to second. A bad throw back to Francis. Goes all the way to the Magician's dugout and allows the extra base for Keyser. Now she'll be run for, but that never should have happened. Just walk that back in and hand it to Francis. Schmidt made a really nice play at short, going to the backhand to make the stop. It looked like that was headed for the outfield. And then McGovern, a really good scoop over there at first, too. That's where it should have ended. But now a runner in scoring position for the Falcons with 2 down here in the 6th. Diana Cash at the plate. She's driven in the only run today for the Falcons. Wants to do it again. Cut the lead in half. Coach Gold checking with both umpires about something. He's got his explanation from both, and he'll head back to the dugout. Francis, first pitch to Cash is low. Cash with one of just 2 hits allowed from Francis today. The RBI single in the first, after a couple walks put batters on by Francis in that inning. The only other hit, also a single to lead off the third by Kyla Maroney. And that might drive her in. Nope, she stops at third wisely. As Mortensen picked it up quickly. But runners on the corners for the Falcons, the tying run at the plate.
Hidden in Sky Coakley's spot is Janaea Cash. But Diana Cash clearly seeing Francis well, her second single of the day. Gianna Ferraro is the runner at third. First pitch to Cash is a ball. The 1-0 is low. Good stop by Bornhurst behind the plate. Big cut from Cash. Francis blows the fastball by her. 2 balls and a strike. Francis winds, delivers. That's high. 3-1. And the pitch is in there. Another full count. Janaea Cash was hoping to walk. Now she's got a battle. Here's the 3-2 from Francis. Cash puts it in the air to right field. The play is made by Isabel Mortensen, and the side is retired. Danvers leaves runners on the corners in the top of the 6th. They don't get a run. Magicians lead 4-1, headed to the home half of the 6th. Isabel Mortensen will lead off the 6th inning for the Magicians. 0 for 2 on the day. Take strike 1. She's popped up to third and grounded out to second. Things have really changed in this game for the Magicians since Sky Coakley left the field for Danvers. Their starting pitcher hadn't allowed a hit. And they've pushed 4 runs across against Maroney. They scored twice in the 5th without recording a hit. 3 errors on the Falcons allowed the Magicians to extend this lead. Falcons will be down to their final 3 outs after the Magicians hit here in the 6th. These 2 teams have played 2 tight games this season. Magicians won 2-0 at Danvers about 3 weeks ago. Now the tides have turned in their favor in this one, but Danvers still within striking distance. Didn't do themselves any favors in the top half of this inning, leaving 2 runners on. This is popped up, and it will get out of play. 2 strikes on Isabel Mortensen. The pitch from Maroney is off the plate. Here's the 2-2. Strike 3. First strikeout for Maroney. Coakley had struck out 4 Magicians batters through her 3 innings of work. That brings up Luca Bornhurst. Ball and a strike to the Magicians catcher, who's 1 for 2 on the day. Reached in the 4th. Made it all the way over to third base, but she was stranded there. There's the 2-2. That's hit deep into right, and that is off the base of the wall. Completely misplayed by the Danvers right fielder. She was going towards center field, and the ball was behind her. And it's a stand-up triple for Luca Bornhurst. Luca taking full advantage of the pitching change, now 2 for 2 off of Maroney. That had a chance to get out of here, it looked like. The wind blowing back towards home plate might have taken a home run away from her. But she'll take the triple with 1 out in good position to score. Carolyn Black hitting for Kate Andriano here. Black trying to bunt her home, fouls the first pitch back. Bornhurst putting together an all-star senior season. Stands 60 feet away. And another foul ball on the bunt attempt for Black. She's going to have to swing now.
Let's go, 1-5.
Strike 3. Got her looking. That brings up Lila McGovern. Called strike. Lila walked in the third, reached on an error and scored in the fifth. Let's see if she has another 6th inning spark in her after hitting a grand slam in the 6th inning in her last game against Peabody. Puts this one in the air. It's playable at short. But nothing's a certainty with this Danvers infield, but they do make the play this time. And again, Luca stranded at third base, but the Magicians will head out there for Danvers' final at bat with a 4-1 lead. Top of the 7th inning, Danvers needs 3 to tie. 4-1 game for Francis. And for the 3rd time today, as she did in the 2nd and 5th innings, she will face the 7, 8, and 9 hitters here in Danvers' last chance. They are combined 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. A walk tucked in there. One and one on Brooke Wilichowski, who has struck out twice. Puts this one into the parking lot for strike 2. Francis with 9 strikeouts this afternoon. Doesn't get 10 there. Ground ball to Schmidt at short, but an easy play for the all-star shortstop for the Magicians. Throws across to McGovern to get Wilichowski. This is Allie McGinnity. Struck out looking in the 2nd, walked in the 5th. And she's had a tough time in the field today with a couple of errors at 3rd. Takes strike one and strike two. The 0-2 off speed and outside. That rides in on McGinnity for ball two. The count now even. Strike three, got her looking for the second time today. That is strikeout number 10 for Tessa Francis. And the Falcons down to their final out. The number 9 hitter, Taylor Landry, who is 0 for 2. Struck out and grounded back to Francis in her last at bat. One ball and one strike on Landry. Fouls that one away, and they are down to their final strike. Here's the 1-2 from Francis. And she rolls it in the dirt. Landry doesn't chase. Here's the 2-2. Strike three. And that is the ball game on strikeout number 11 for Tessa Francis. The Magicians improved to 12-1 on the season with their second win over the Falcons this spring, a 4-1 final. Stick around. When we get back in just a moment, I'll announce the Marblehead Sports Shop Player of the Game.
The Marblehead Sports Shop offers custom sports apparel, team uniforms, and Marblehead branded one-of-a-kind gifts, and is proud to present the MHS Sports on MHTV Player of the Game.
Welcome back to MHS Sports on MHTV. Today's Marblehead Sports Shop Player of the Game is Tessa Francis. With 11 strikeouts on the afternoon, she picks up her 12th win of the season, and she also had an RBI double in the 4th inning, just missing a home run. Excellent day all around for the potential NEC MVP. Congratulations, Tessa, from the Marblehead Sports Shop and MHTV. We'd like to thank the Marblehead Sports Shop for being our community partner in bringing you the Player of the Game award. And we'd like to thank National Grand Bank for being our community partner in bringing you MHS Sports on MHTV. Once again, the final score, 4-1. The Magicians win it over the Falcons. For all of us here at MHTV Sports, I'm Jess Burton. Thank you for watching.
NGB is always here to help.
Thank you, NGB.
No, thank you.
What would we do without NGB?
They're always so helpful.
Thanks, NGB. Thanks, NGB.
Always here to help.
Wow, thanks, NGB.
Always happy to help. I'm no hero. I'm just doing my job.
Let's hear it for NGB, huh?
Wake up.
Hey, Jim.
We have customers to take care of. Welcome to NGB. How can we help you?